Moving on in chapter 5, we're going to start with solving equations with variables on both sides. When you have an equation like 3x equals 2x plus 1, you need to use the addition or subtraction property of equality to write an equivalent equation with the variables all on one side. So our goal is to get the variable all by itself on one side of the equal sign and any constants on by themselves on the other side of the equal sign. So with an equation like this, 3x equals 2x plus 1, I don't want the 2x and the plus 1 with each other on the same side. I want to get rid of this 2x. And so I do that by subtracting 2x from both sides. So 3x minus 2x is 1x. And 2x minus 2x is 0, so all that's left on this side is 1. And we can check that solution by substituting the 1 back into the original equation wherever we see an x. So it's 3 times 1 equals 2 times 1 plus 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So that solution checks. And that's really all we're doing, is we want to get all of the variables to one side and all of our constants to the other side. We'll just work our way through some examples. Let's start with this one first. 7y equals 5y plus 4. I don't want the 5y and the 4 together. I want to get rid of this 5y, so let's subtract 5y from both sides. 7y minus 5y equals 2y. And these 5y's equal, or 5y minus 5y is 0, so all that's left is 4 on this side. 2y equals 4. I still don't want a 2y though. I want that y to be all by itself, so I'm going to divide by 2 and have y equals 2. On this one, x, we already have an x that's by itself, but I've got 2x over here, so we still have to work with these to get them together. I don't want 2x over here with this constant, so I'm going to subtract 2x. X minus 2x is? It's just negative x. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So this would be like a negative 1x equals negative 2. But I don't want a negative 1 in front of this x. I want it to be a positive 1 in front of the x. So we'll multiply by negative 1 on both sides. Negative 1 times negative 1 is a positive 1, so we just write that as x. And negative 2 times negative 1 would be positive 2. Don't ever want a negative variable as our final solution. Always have to take that last step to multiply by negative 1 to make everything positive. Three x minus 2 equals negative x plus 6. And so the equations get a little more complex now. We've got constants on both sides and variables on both sides. Let's always start with a constant, or sorry, start with a variable, and I want to make the variable positive if at all possible. So do I want to subtract 3x or add 1x? That's a real question.
1x.
Add 1x. So 3x plus x is 4x, minus 2 equals 6. Now this is a two-step equation like we were used to doing back in chapter 4, so hopefully it looks familiar. At this point you would just start taking things away from the variables. So add 2 to both sides, 4x equals 8, then divide by 4, and x equals 2. 5W plus 15 equals W minus 49. So I'm going to look at the variables first. And in my mind, I know that I want to keep a positive variable. So I don't want to subtract 5W because that would make this one negative. So I'll take this one away, subtract W. 5W minus W is 4W. Plus 15 equals negative 49. Subtract 15 from both sides. 4W equals negative 64. Then divide by 4. So W equals negative 16. Same steps with decimals or fractions, no matter what it looks like. We still use the exact same methods, just the math gets a little more interesting. Look at the variables first. I can either add 3.7x or I can subtract 10.3x. And since I want everything to be positive, that I would rather add. So add 3.7x. 3 equals 14x plus 10. Now the only step left that I can do next is subtract 10. So negative 7 equals 14x. Then divide by 14. So negative 7 divided by 14 is either right as negative 1/2 or negative 0.5. Two-fifths y minus 8 equals 20 plus 3/4 y. Sometimes with fractions, the most difficult part of it is deciding which one's bigger so that I can keep everything positive. This one isn't too bad. 2/5 is obviously smaller than 3/4. So I'm going to subtract 2/5 y from both sides. Just put that straight in your calculator. 3/4 minus 2/5. So negative 8 equals 20 plus 7/20 y. Subtract 20, so negative 28 equals 7/20 y. When you have a fraction in front of your variable, what do you do to solve? Flip and multiply. Multiply by 20 over 7. And that should come out to negative 80 equals y. Word problems like this shouldn't be too difficult. Just make each word into symbols, or each group of word into symbols. 4 more means plus 4. The word than is always going to mean take whatever comes next and put it in front of the last thing you just had. So 4 more than 5 times a number means that 5 times a number is going to go in front of the 4, the plus 4. Is the same thing as would be equals. 12 less means minus 12. Than means something's going to go in front of the minus 12. And it's 9 times the number, 9x. So we end up with 5x plus 4 is the same thing as 9x minus 12. Look at the variables to decide which side to start on. Do I want to subtract 5x or subtract 9x? Subtract 5x. 4 equals 4x minus 12. Now add 12 to both sides. 16 equals 4x. Divide by 4. So 4 equals x. Last one. A personal trainer charges a one-time fee of $60 plus $25 for each individual session. So if you go to this trainer, you're going to pay them $25 every, whoops, that's supposed to be 5. $25 every time you see them. 25x plus a one-time fee to sign up for their service of $60. A new fitness club charges a yearly fee of $450 plus $10 for each session with a personal trainer. And the question is, write and solve an equation to determine for what number of sessions the cost will be equal. So we're going to put an equal sign between our two expressions. The new fitness club charges $10 every time you meet with a trainer, and they charge a yearly fee of $450. So if we solve this equation, we should figure out how many sessions with a trainer would be equal. So subtract 10x from both sides. That'd be 15x plus 60 equals 450. Subtract 60. 15x equals 390. 390 divided by 15 is 26. So x equals 26. Oops, 26. What does that mean? X equals 26.
26 days, 3 sessions.
26 sessions with a trainer. So if I only plan on using a trainer once a month, which one of these is going to be cheaper to use? This one. Even though it's more money every time I use the trainer, it's a less one-time fee, so this would be the cheaper one to use if I only use a trainer once a month. If I want to use a trainer every week, I should use this one because it's going to end up being less in the long run. All right. There's your assignment. Pages 233, 234 of the book, 8 through 26 even.